everybody. Welcome to Mystics Outlook, the very first one of the second half of the season. Things didn't go the way the Mystics wanted. They had pretty much, 2.5, close to 3 quarters of really solid play, double-digit lead, as you guys can see on the bottom of the screen. The Aces rallied from 21 down to beat the Mystics 84-83. Joined as always by Cardell Dudley Jr. You got Raymond Lyons. Cardell, will let you start with this one. Just your thoughts on just call it what it is, just the fourth quarter collapse, you know?
Man, wow. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I'm honestly, I'm shocked. The fourth day just kind of fell apart, and you kind of saw the defensive issues come into effect that's been plaguing them throughout the season. It's like it just reared its ugly head throughout the entire fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Defending and fouling. You know what I mean? Not hedging out. The bigs not hedging out. Tiki Tafa's putting the teams on the free throw line where it allowed them to get easy points. And meanwhile, you're getting in foul trouble, so it forces the ball to make adjustments. And now you get and one thing a lot of people may not know is when a team gets free throws, even if they're off, it helps them get in rhythm because they seen the ball go in the basket. They getting in rhythm. So now they come down to offense, they're confident. And with that, the clock is dead, it's not moving, and they're chipping away at your lead. And it puts pressure on you to have to score to sustain that lead, yet you're still compounding every mistake by continuously to do the same type of mistakes after mistake with defensively, man. And it just reared its ugly head, man. We could say that maybe it was rust, they coming off, it's their first game back or whatnot, but it's the second half now. You can't have you don't have time for the excuse no more because a couple of losses, you out of the playoff mix, and it's gonna be tough to make a run. Liz came out. I thought she just imposed her will in the fourth quarter. We could talk about the first 3 quarters, how the Mystics came out firing on all cylinders in the first quarter, and they maintained it basically for the second and third quarter. But the third quarter, the Aces started getting the rhythm, but it was still room for the Mystics to close this game out. And Cambage, she just imposed her will in the fourth. She scored 9 points in basically in the first half of the fourth quarter, but she scored 9 of the Aces' first 13 points in the fourth quarter. And that cut a 14-point lead to 6. And now it's 5:55 remaining, and now you had a double-digit lead, and now it's cut to 6. That's pressure, you know what I mean? And for them to try to execute coming off the long layoff in their first game, and this is the first time they had a healthy team. I mean, let's face it, they still not even fully acclimated with one another because it's like it's always a couple players out. So they still in a way still trying to find a full team chemistry. There's certain players that may have chemistry, certain lineups, but as a team, no, they don't have it, and not fully. And once the Aces got going, they got momentum offensively, it fit their defense, and it was on, you know what I'm saying? And they closed the game on a 16-9 run. Obviously, the final blow was the Chelsea Gray step back jumper, with 4.6 seconds left. Good screen by Asia, who pretty much took care of the second half of the fourth quarter after Cambage gave them the jolt or energy that they need offensively. Tina didn't hedge out, not to pick on Tina, but if you notice throughout the season, teams are picking on her. You know what I mean? Especially when they need a bucket. They count on her not really hedging out strong or whatnot, and they know their guard they can create space, especially if you got somebody like Chelsea Gray, one of the best point guards in the league. They can create space when they come off that screen. It's just an ISO situation, and obviously Bill Laimbeer, he felt that it was in their favor, and she proved it was. She hit the jumper to go ahead. This loss hurts, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you guys see him again on Tuesday, but it hurts because now you a half game up on the ninth seed, and you know what I'm saying? And now every win matters, man. I like what I saw for the most part for throughout the game from Maisha Hines Allen. Coming off injury, she was herself. For some reason, she loves seeing the Aces. She always does a good job against them. Atkins, she didn't get a lot of time being one of the youngsters on USA, so she hit the ground running, doing what she does. Cloud 11 and 10. Couldn't ask for much more from her, man. She did her job. But it came down to defense, man. You can't put 24 fouls as a team. I mean, geez, man, 15 to 21 for the free throw line, the Aces. It's just hard. That's how they came back. You know, you gave them points. You know, honestly. So they have to clean up they have to clean up their defensive end, man. They have to be able to defend without fouling, man, and it's so fundamental. We've talked about on not just on this show, on other show when we covering the men's side with the Wizards and stuff like that. It's not enough importance being paid to the defensive end, man. The execution, the fundamental, and we know the Mystics have a couple players that are elite at that, like Cloud and Atkins. We don't worry about them. You know, Cloud. I mean, not Cloud, but Atkins sometimes. But she knows how to cut it out and just play solid defense. But for the most part, the rest of the team is hit or miss. And for them to get back to where they want to be, which is in the playoff mix, man, they have to clean that up ASAP. I'm not worried about the offense. If they're healthy, they're going to put points on the board, man. That's not it. But just me personally, if I was playing, they were hurt because this was a game they should have won. It's no question. And in a way, they gave it to them by just being fundamentally, they weren't sound fundamentally defensively. And you just can't have that. It's the second half, playoffs around the corner, teams going to be ramping it up. They got to clean it up for sure.
Right.
Yeah, this loss, it definitely hurts, man. If as much as it would have been a boost if they were able to close it out, it is that much equally impactful on the negative side. You come in here, you kind of taking it to one of the top teams. You held them at bay for pretty much 3 quarters. Then in the fourth quarter, things just came tumbling down, man. The Aces just got back to their identity, punished them inside, got to the free throw line. They was aggressive and they executed. And that's just what the game came down to. They outscored them with 29-14 in the fourth quarter. That's a tough one right there, man. No matter who you playing against, if you're in a position to close the game out like that, then you got to get it done. And it's not like, the Mystics got players with experience that have been in these spots before. So like Ardell said, man, there's really no excuse to be perfectly honest, man. You come out after a long layoff and you come out the gate, smoking, then that should be a confidence booster and pretty much all you need, to kind of work through it. Typically you would be afraid of a slow start in a situation like this, but it was the exact opposite, man. They came out steamrolling and the Aces really had no answers until the fourth quarter. But yeah, man, that was pretty much the game right there. But, on some positive notes, in the first half of the season, we had said a lot of times that Natasha Cloud needed to be more aggressive. She came out aggressive this game, gave the defense something to think about, and really wasn't just kind of sitting on the perimeter passing the ball, making it easy for them to play defense. She came out looking for a shot, and that really opened other things up. Aisha Allen had a great game. She was effective from everywhere on the floor. Tina had a big first half. She kind of slowed down in the second half, but dealing with Asia and Liz, man, that's a tough assignment. But yeah, man, it was a tough way to go out, man. They I don't know, man. It just train kind of fell off the tracks there.
Yeah, man.
It happens, man. But
I feel me, man.
Yeah, man. I know they see him on Tuesday, so it's gonna be fresh in their mind, and also the way they started the game is gonna be fresh on Vegas' mind as well. So they probably gonna come out looking to destroy. So they gotta be ready. But yeah, man, it again just 10 minutes doomed them. And that's what it was. But I mean, hats off to Vegas, man. They're a great team. They got great players over there, so they just got it done down the stretch. And Chelsea Gray, the 2 big plays at the end, the assist to Asia on the jumper, and then her own shot to give them the lead. It's gotta just take your hat off to her. She's who she is for a reason. So I mean, hopefully they can rebound. Just forget about this one. Get ready for Tuesday.
Yeah, and I mean, everything you guys said is just pretty much what was being alluded to in the post game. Coach G, the fouling was terrible. More than anything, when you allow a team that was on the ropes to get to the line and get their breath, and that's essentially what it was, because they were on the ropes. It wasn't like Vegas was. We've seen Vegas when they're rolling. They have a nice, productive, efficient, well-running half-court offense. There is that That's why they're one of the best teams in the league. We didn't see any of that for 3 quarters because Washington was playing good defense, but you fouled them, you slowed things down. And the other thing Coach G was saying, by the foul, like with the fouls, all the silly fouls, it took Washington out of their rhythm. They were in a half court because they were in a great rhythm offensively. But the stoppage of play, you know what that does is like, some folks only looking at one end of it. It hurt Washington twofold. It's putting Vegas on the line, which means, what does anybody tell you, regardless of sport, best way to catch up is when the clock stopped. It was free points, the clock stopped, and it's everything you ever want. Because you're avoiding that whole thing of running out of time. Late in the game, well, also in the fourth quarter, Coach G said, the Aces went to their super big lineup and they kept them in for the entire fourth. And one of the biggest things I think Atkins was talking about, how that impacted was it changed how you were the double on Tina, because you were doubling with Hamby versus doubling with Plum or Jackie Young or somebody smaller. That said, there's still no excuse for the turnovers. This is the first time Tina's been doubled this season. They had to take better care of the ball. Like you guys said, everything came to a head in that last 10 minutes, and they paid for it. The offense got stagnant once, the Aces went to make sure they took Tina away. One of the things Maisha was talking about was that she has to do a better job defensively, just doing her work early. Because as a smaller post player, we know what she brings physically because she's a plus athlete, but she's not 6'5", 6'6". So that's where that does hurt. And one of the things, and Cardell mentioned, we've seen over time she does have good games against the Aces, and it's because of what she brings to the table. The downside to that at times is when she ends up in foul trouble, it hurts Washington even more when you think about who else isn't here. In the past, when these teams rumbled, Washington's been able to go big, but like two of the big part of it, like in that playoff, that playoff series they had when they rumbled, both of those two post players that cause a lot of damage are not available right now. And even then, with those two not being here, you still had a 20-point lead. So, obviously, whatever, when you guys were talking about imagining what the mood would be, it's pretty much that's where the players at. That's what coach is. There's nothing else to say. It's just, you got a chance on Tuesday to get things back. And like Ray said, the Aces, the last thing they want to do is let you get into that rhythm you got into to start this game off, because they shouldn't have walked away with this one. They did, so kudos to them, but they shouldn't have walked away with this one. So we'll see. Obviously, people are asking about adjustments or whatever after the game. I mean, like, sometimes it's just simple. Stop fouling. Stop turning the ball over. And you really can't afford to foul when you're the smaller team. You just really can't.
And you press, you know what I'm saying? And you press, and that's why they scored 14 points. They felt them coming. It's just natural. Everyone's human. I don't care how talented you are, how good of a team you are. When they start coming, when they start walking you down, like Daryl Green in his prime, you feel it. You know what I mean? and you can tell when the momentum is on the other side with the other team, man. And like you said, man, like Asia's the MVP of the league. Cambage, I mean, they're hell to deal with. And shout out Jackie Young. She balled. We didn't talk about her enough. She balled, and with all due respect, she tore Shatori up. She look, Gray didn't have a great shoe night to the end, because that's Cloud and that's Atkins. You know what I'm saying? And the two of the best on-ball defenders you would have in the league, man. But Shatori, it got to a point Tabalt couldn't really even play her. You know what I'm saying? And this just wasn't a game for her. So she kept them. I'm gonna say kept them in the game. She gave them a little bit of life in the first half when everybody else was struggling. Then obviously the front court got going, and then it's like, oh damn, you know what I'm saying? And the defensive thing, once you pick up a couple of ticky-tack fouls and they hitting their free throws and stuff, you start thinking. And when you start thinking, you like, yo, should I press up? But you thinking about the ref. And the thing is, it's veteran, highly accomplished players on the Aces. They know you're thinking about it. So now it's like, okay, let's just take our time and go to work. Here you go, Asia, popping out, hit the jumper. She don't want to hit. She don't want to come out too far, man. She knows she ain't trying to deal with that risk in the foul. Okay, balls, you posting up, here you go to work. It's the floodgates open, man. And when it gets like that, it's tough. And and like I said, this team haven't been together in its entirety enough to understand how to come together and withstand that type of blow. Not right now, and it comes at a tough time because they only have 13 games left. So these wins hurt. You know what I mean? And they trying to hold on to the AFC, and you know, looking at the standings, the AFC pretty much means if you hold on to that, you know, you gotta see the Aces right now.
Yeah.
You gotta see the Aces.
Again. That's your reward.
Yeah.
That's your reward.
Yeah, you either gotta see the Aces or you going out west. Either way, you going out west to see the Aces or the Storm.
Yeah.
And neither one of them, you know, it is what it is, man. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, y'all know, man. Like these type of L's hurt. These are it's almost better to just smack us. We go back to the drawing board. But when you got the double-digit lead and on the road against the best team in the league record-wise, and then you throw it away in a fourth, man, it hurts. It hurts, man. So
and that's the other thing, like you were saying, you know, where Atkins was alluding to too. You know, it's like Washington knows how good they are and how good they can be or whatnot, but regardless, you have to put together 4 quarters, and they've struggled to put together 4 quarters all season long, regardless of who's been out on the floor. And what you and Ray both mentioned, it's a lot in 13 games to get used to everybody that's there and all the different ways. Like, I think one thing Maisha was talking about, one of the things she was asked, one of the things she could do better is before she got hurt, her and Tina were kind of in a nice place playing off each other.
Right.
But you know, like today when Vegas went out their way to take Tina out of it, you know, doing a better job off ball cutting and things of that nature. Like you said, there's still so many little things that you would know that instinctively had y'all already like been there together multiple games. And even I think Coach Hughes talked about like they've practiced with that bigger lineup we've seen in the past to a degree, but all those people aren't available to be on the floor. So you can't really go to it because even if you change one of the pieces of that big lineup, it's not the same group that you had in practice. Like to be able to put Maisha at the 3. You can't do that because, you know, EDD's not here, Emma's not here. It's not the same. It doesn't present the same threat that it does to Vegas. You know, switching out one of those pieces where it's Plaisance, Tina, and Maisha. It's not the same, and it's not a knock on Therese or anything. It's why Vegas went. It's why Vegas went Hamby, Wilson, Cambage later, and you know we've seen in the past Washington's been able to match that to a degree with other iterations, but you can't right now because people aren't available. But like you guys said, bottom line, tough game to lose. The good thing is you don't got a lot of time to think about it. You see them on Tuesday, and then you know you got another tough team out west on Thursday. It's not the end of the road, but it's gonna be one of those things where they're gonna have to fight, scratch, and claw to make the playoffs, and then be ready to take on a heavyweight. Like, and this is part of it. This is where you are. There's no way there's no way around it or whatever. You know, nobody and you know it'd be one thing to talk about the standings. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh well, if everything breaks right now, you gotta you gotta do what you gotta do to get to the playoffs. I don't care about that. Like if that happens, it's a bonus. You gotta do what you gotta do to playoffs. And the other thing is, fortunately for you, you're equipped enough because bad teams don't go up 20 on the Aces.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're equipped for how tough the road might be. That said, you can't afford this is why. Like Cardell said, I can only say it one more time before we close. This is why this one hurts. It stings a little bit. There's some stuff on the end of this.
For sure.
Yeah.
And just to close it
we all
out.
know it. Go ahead.
No, I was saying just to close it out. I know the elephant in the room is will Deladon come back, but if you keep losing games, there's no point in her coming back. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, why? Ain't no point in him calling Emma. Like, we see you next year, but it ain't no point. You know, it is what it is. But I know this team has dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got some highly competitive championship caliber players that have won. You know what I'm saying? So I don't expect them to fold like that. But it's gut check time. We're going to see what it is. You know, we talked about this before the break. Like, when they come back, it's going to be real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Wilson said that we'll know within the first week if they're going to the playoffs or not. We'll know real soon. They're there.
I mean, look, man,
Not
we're
the
here
ideal
now.
start, but they're there.
Yeah, and like I said, you have what 13 games left now. We know going in they had 14 games left. They weren't going to go 14-0. So it is what it is. But like Cardell said, you're running out of room for error. So that's what the thing is. Like, let's be honest, that's what it is. You're running out of wiggle room. The also good thing you have in your favor, it's only a 12-team league. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for you at this current time, there's not 6 teams in front of you to get to that last playoff spot. It's mathematically impossible for there to be 8 teams between you and the playoff spot. So we'll see what happens. You guys have a great night. Don't forget to get over to the Focus TV. And we'll be back Tuesday night, as always, for our regular scheduled programming. And Mystics Outlook this week, because I think we'll see you guys on Thursday. And then Ray should be in the building on Sunday. One of us should be in the building on Sunday when they return home. And like Cardell said, they got after going into next week, rather, they got a nice string of home games. And we know what home court was for them during 2019. They're going to need all y'all, and any Mystics fans that are watching, they're going to need all of y'all there for this tough climb back into, to try to make the postseason. We need every bit of it because it's, like you guys said, it's real. Real quick, one word from Uzanaz before we get out of here. Try our family meal tonight. Choose 4 entrees. The choices are fried chicken leg quarter, whiting, catfish, 6-piece wings, 8-ounce meatloaf, 6-piece shrimp, baked chicken leg quarter, chicken breast. Choose 3 sides. Those choices are yams, fresh cabbage, fresh green beans, fresh collard greens, yellow rice with gravy, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, potato salad, or grits. All of what I just named is for $49.95. At the Georgia Avenue location, you have the option to add 2 cocktails or 4 beers for $59.95. Order now at uzanaz.com and enjoy free delivery with Uber Eats. And once again, www.thefocustv.com. We'll see you guys very soon.